So how was your week?
My week's been really great. I know that we're both doing training for, I'm doing 29029 Everesting, which is hiking the equivalent of Mount Everest. And what are you training for?
San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon, 26.2 miles.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when you are
Well,
doing
go
this
ahead with
training,
yours. I want to hear about yours. Tell me. You said what is yours? I really don't know the full story.
I've done a big thing each year for the last 4 or 5 years. And coming into this year, I'm like, what's the big thing going to be? It's got to be something different. And I was scrolling through Instagram in the middle of the night, and this ad for 29029 Everesting came on. And the words Mount Everest, what's your Mount Everest, kind of pinged a little interest for me. And I started reading about it. And it's this, they rent out a mountain for a weekend, and you hike up the mountain as many times as it takes, and you gondola down as many times as it takes to hike the equivalent of Mount Everest.
In what time
it,
frame?
36 hours. And you get, they give you a white bib that has your name on it. It's exclusive. There are only 250 people at each event. So it's not like, it's just a free for all, or, as you approach an aid station. Hi, Becky, how are you? So it's like, they're going to know my name. I'm going to feel so good. And you do this repeatedly, and with each time you climb and you gondola down, you burn into this branding board, a triangle that's like a mountain for each hike. And it takes 15 hikes. I'm doing Sun Valley, Idaho, and it will take 15 times up the mountain. And then the last ascent that you do, you get this special red bib that says final ascent. And then when you're complete, they give you a red hat, and the red hat is earned. It's not, you can't buy it. You can't bribe your way into it. You literally have to earn that red hat. And I'm week 5 of my training, of the 20-week training. And this last Saturday, we hiked almost 16 miles, and it was so weird. While I was hiking, not weird, it was great. While I was hiking, all of a sudden I kicked into this gear that I didn't know I had. And it was like someone literally put it into 5th gear. And I'm like, dang, I got this boost going up that final climb of Pole Mountain is tough. And I like my friend, she was behind me. Normally she's in front of me. And I kicked into gear. And then then I finished the strongest I ever have. The next day I went out to hike again, and to do a 7-mile hike. And within just a few minutes into the hike, my knee started hurting. And then by 15 to 20 minutes into it, it was like I was carrying a lead weight on my leg. And all I could think about was, oh my God, do I need a knee replacement? Do I have a torn meniscus?
What is that word you used? The
catastrophizing it.
Oh my
yes, God. I was catastrophizing it. And I thought, oh my gosh. And this voice in my head was saying, you really can't do this. Come on. Who are you to think that you could do this? And I got home, and I took a shower, got myself all ready. My husband and I went on a date, and walking around downtown, I was like, I was in tears. It hurt so much.
Oh God, I can relate.
I went to see my chiropractor yesterday, and God bless him. I said, I quit right there. I quit. And I turned around and walked away. He goes, Becky, you didn't quit. You stopped to honor your body. There's a difference. And I was like, wow.
Why did you go to quit?
I don't,
because go to quit.
It's that inner critic that's telling me that I'm not strong enough to do this. I'm not an athlete. Who am I to think I'm an athlete? Come on. No one chose me in high school or junior high to be on their team. And that inner critic just erodes at any, the huge hike I did on Saturday I was rocking it. And
what was your inner critic saying then?
That I can do this. Seriously,
I was seeing your inner coach.
Yeah, it was like my inner coach was saying,
you're
going to get that red hat.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I went out today and hiked again. We just did 5 miles, and my knee feels great. And I'm like, kind of giving up to the inner critic, and I can beat you. So that's where I am.
Very good. Well, what did the chiropractor, as I hold my knee, I'm like, what did the chiropractor say about your knee?
He really worked me over. And So while I was hiking the big hike, my hip was hurting, and my hip hurts a lot. So I didn't really pay attention to it. And then when the knee hurt, I tend to think that they're separate, and I forget that they're not. They're totally connected. So the hip, if the hip is hurting, and my knee hurts the next day, I get to remember that they are connected. And so he suggested that I do like bridges to beef up my butt.
Mm. Oh
My
my
butt
God,
has
there's the
literally
butt.
come
Holy
into
God, there's the butt so early in today. So early. It's too early for the butt. Okay, so your butt. You're going to beef up your butt.
we can't have a podcast without my butt. And so, yeah, I'm going to beef up my butt. And he gave me these exercises, and I can see how strengthening my butt will hold my hips in a certain way. And if my hips are held in a certain way, then my knee is going to stay in alignment. So it's so crazy our bodies all line up. It's
It's
amazing.
your hip bone is connected to your, all that. That's funny. And I get it. So my what is he? Orthopedic surgeon, and he's in a practice with a chiropractor. They explained to me that if I hold my shoulders up and like back when I'm walking, will keep my hips in alignment, my knees in alignment, and so I work really hard at this like super upright posture. He says you think you look stupid, and you kind of do, but it matters. It matters from the head to the toe. It all lines up. So I can comprehend. I can appreciate what you're going through. So
The song in my mind is um, ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody
you're
gonna
gonna
slow
slow
me
me
down.
down. No,
Yeah.
yes, I kind of like
That
that
song reminds
song.
me of you, by the way.
It's my one of my favorite go-to songs
Yeah.
when I need a moment of just like put that song in. I Am Woman, that song. There's a few. Anyway, that's a great song, and actually I'm going to listen to it today. Maybe we'll see if it's royalty free now. We'll put it on here. We'll see.
That would be so great.
It would be great. We could have our own like little theme song like that. So you got your inner critic. I had one yesterday. We're behind. I'm going to own it as I'm behind on my training. I had the hysterectomy. Then I got overactive too soon. I had a little delay in healing, so I should have started training in early January. And I got a 2-week delay with that. And then we had weather, and then we had life, and then and I chose to put things off. And so now I'm behind. And instead of finding a new program to fit into the time I have left, which is a 16-week program versus a 20-week program, I'm like, I'm just going to jump into where I should be, and I'm going to be fine. Not so fine. So that was Wednesday. I think it was 6 miles, but I pushed it. And
You ran 6 miles?
no, I don't run. I can't run. So I don't run. It's speed walking, so power walking. And then the next day I had a big show to get ready for Saturday morning. So I thought if I just don't sit down, if I don't sit down, I just keep going, because I thought if I sit down, I would freeze up. So other than sleeping for like the next 2 days, I didn't do much sitting at all. And then we had Jake's son's birthday party was here. It was just one thing after another, and I hit the wall. And then I was supposed to train yesterday to make up for all of this, and it didn't happen. And I went into a full-on rage against myself for making bad choices, choices that went back to middle of January. And it just, I went into, critic, it was more like really rage against myself. It's like, okay, after I got done having this rant and beating myself up so I'm not sure if you remember, Becky. So the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon, the first rock and roll marathon was in 1998, and I did that marathon. And I've always had it on my bucket list to do it at least one more time, but there was no way I'm missing the 25th anniversary, which is this year. So part of my beating myself up is like self-sabotage. Like, this is something if I really truly want this, then why am I not doing it? Then you must not truly want it. If you really truly wanted it, you'd be freaking doing it. Why aren't you doing it? Because you don't really truly. Okay, that's where I was at. And then I finally got my shit together, and I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, which I'm going to do, what is this going to look like? I Googled a 16-week training program and looked at it, was like, holy crap, this is doable. I can do this. I was making it way too hard. And so I'm back on track. It's just like that after just, but having to I recognized I was beating myself up and saying, okay, that's it. That's enough. Stop it. That little inner monster that I call the dream destroyer. Stop. And then reframe it. So that's where I was at. Both of us in our training episodes, I guess. Look at that.
Mel Robbins said that one way to really kind of challenge yourself is sign up for something like a marathon or a mud run or something that's you've never done. And it's so interesting that it's not the destination, it's the journey getting there. Really, it's so much that goes on in here, that inner critic that tries to, I believe the inner critic is in there to keep you safe. Its job is to say, you can't do this because you'll get hurt. You can't do this because you'll get whatever. I believe that. That's what my inner critic's telling me right now anyways. So I hear you.